Just tell us a little bit about your collegiate career.
So I went into college to play as a middle, and my freshman year, my coach decided that I would be the starting right side. So it was definitely a shock, but it was.
Hi, my name is Amy Opsal. I'm the programs director at Northern Virginia Volleyball Association in Northern Virginia. This video cast is all about player development, so we call it Volleyball from A to Z. Everything you need to know to get started, to keep going, and to take the next step. Our second guest in our podcast or video cast, so however you're tuning in, is Brady. And Leah is a very fun addition to the podcast, as she is an alumni at our volleyball club and she coaches. She's gone through a collegiate program. She has a ton of experience, so we're happy to have her. All right, thanks Leah for joining us. I would love to just hear about your origin story. So kind of tell us how you started with volleyball.
So I started by going to camps. When I was in 4th grade was my first camp. I did a lot of them. I went into 6th grade hoping to make the team. I didn't make the team. I went to more camps and then I tried out in 7th grade and I made the 7th grade team. I started club that same year and played for a different club my 13th and 14th year. And then my 15th year, my first year of high school, is when I started playing for NVVA. So that was definitely when I was kind of eye-opening to the world of volleyball. Definitely the people around me had higher volleyball IQs. There was just so much I didn't know yet, and that year was definitely a curve for me. It's when I knew I wanted to, play volleyball for good.
Yeah, I love it. And then you also played collegiately.
I did.
Congrats. I mean, it's crazy. Not a lot of people get to do that, so that's a good accomplishment. Just tell us a little bit about your collegiate career.
So I went into college to play as a middle, and my freshman year, my coach decided that I would be the starting right side. So it was definitely a shock, but it was something that I was very excited to try to conquer. And my team finished very well. We had a very good season, and the next year I was able to go and play as the starting middle, and the year after I was also starting middle. So it was a great experience, and I wouldn't change it.
Nice. Yeah. And also, we hear a lot of stories from collegiate players where once they move on to college, they often change positions. But since your coach is telling you just say, okay, okay, I'll do this.
At that point, it's whatever you do to be able to get playing time is, what's going to happen. So I was happy to be able to get playing time.
Yeah, that's great. Congrats.
Thank you.
So thinking about kind of your club career and how you said you changed some different clubs, how much input came from you and how much input came from your parents to kind of navigate this world of club volleyball?
So I still am today the type of person who is very loyal to what they're committed to. So changing clubs was not an easy thing for me. I had been recruited actually by a couple coaches from NVVA just because I had a lot of potential according to them, and I was tall, and that's a big thing in volleyball. So there was definitely some influence coming from them, but then my parents definitely told me, whatever you want to do, it's fine. It's your path, you can choose, but this is what we're seeing from the difference of clubs, and this is, what we think would be a good idea just for you to explore. You can go to a camp and see how you like it, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you can still say you tried. And so that's what I did. I went to the camp and I really enjoyed it, and the coaches definitely sweet talked me, and that same year I was on the 15 ice team.
Yeah, that's super cool. In the Midwest, we don't really have a lot of that kind of recruiting aspect. So I learned about that a little bit here, but I find that the parents try and find the right fit for their family, but the kids talk, and they talk to other players or they talk to their coaches, and it's good that most of the time it's kind of a balance between the player, the coach, and the family.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah. Did your family travel with you then? Were you on a travel team or a regional team? We're learning about a lot of those right now.
So when I was at the other club, it was all like local tournaments for the most part. And of course, you know, my parents traveled with me. And then once I went to NVVA and I was on the top team all 4 years that I was there, we travel all over the nation. And my parents are teachers. And so I was lucky enough that they were able to take off of work to be able to travel with me probably 95% of the time. I can only count a few tournaments that they didn't make it to.
Yeah, that's great. My parents were teacher, or my dad was like a finance guy who worked for himself, and my mom was a teacher. So it was either one, the other, or both. And then if it was local, it was the whole family. They all came and had to be fans.
Yeah, that's awesome. I loved having my parents there throughout the years.
What kind of, because this always happens, like my team, we had a few different hijinks. We would do like temporary tattoos, or we would play pranks on the coach, or we'd play pranks on each other. Did you guys do anything like that at tournaments? There's always a secret life of players that coaches don't know about.
I don't remember us doing anything like that. I remember sometimes we would like dance before going like onto the court, or like we would be in our like camping site and we would just put music on and dance or something like that. For some reason, I'm remembering this one time where we like had an afternoon wave and we went to the mall and we went into Lush and there was like these sparkly soaps and we just put the sparkles like all over us. And Rodrigo was like, "What are you guys doing?" But I mean, we played well that day, so.
I mean, glitter, what is it? Glitter, braids, and ribbons will always be a part of volleyball.
Yeah.
the unmentioned accessories.
Definitely. And the high socks, the like crazy pattern socks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. I love that tournament stuff.
Yeah.
So now that you coach for us, you coach at NVVA, what are some of the things that you see now as a coach that when you were a player, you're like, whoa, or I wish I knew this, or at tournaments, what do you kind of expect now from your players where you maybe didn't listen to that advice, or you definitely listened to that advice?
Yeah. One thing, so I coach 13s, which is the year I started playing club, and the girls are just so much like smarter, and like they have so much more volleyball IQ than I did at that age. And so that's one thing that if I could go back, that is definitely one thing that I would try to do. I would try to study. I would try to learn more and stuff. And I think these girls are like really lucky to be able to have the resources that NVVA gives them to be able to do that. In terms of tournaments, I try to be very like loosey-goosey with my girls at tournaments because I don't want to put too much pressure on them. But I definitely tell them, like, girls, you're not wearing your spandex outside. Like, you're keeping your space clean. We do not want crumbs. We do not want trash. And it's like, I feel like a mom almost, but it's definitely like just like the appearance of us as a team that I see now. Whereas when I played, obviously, like I was just worried about playing and eating.
yeah, it's very different when you kind of grow into that coach mode, or it's weird. You feel like kind of a mom, or you'll say something and you're like, oh wow, my mom said that to me the other day.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's very, because I coach boys and they're a little bit different than the girls, not too much, where they do like to kind of have their stuff to themselves, but it's just all over the camp. It's an organized mess. Or, you know, they don't wear spandex, but they definitely like will wear their shoes outside, and I'm like, don't wear your court shoes outside.
Yeah.
Like, we need to keep those clean. So they're similar but different.
For sure, definitely.
So what are you guys doing right now during quarantine just to keep the team together?
We meet twice a week. On Tuesdays, we have a 30 to 45 minute workout session that I lead. The girls seem to enjoy it mostly because after the workout session, I stay on the Zoom with them and we all like chat a lot. And so it's like a nice kind of hangout for them. And then on Thursday nights, we meet up with our head coach, Coach Norm, and do a video review. So at the beginning of the week, he sends a video for all of the girls to study. And then on Thursday nights, we go over it. They answer questions. They see kind of what they saw out of the video and what they got from it. And so we were definitely keeping them accountable for the season.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are still involved. That's great. I know some other ways that kids are staying involved is definitely kind of doing some challenges with different coaches. Their coach might give them assignments, definitely workouts like you guys are doing. I love that. One thing I haven't seen that I really admire about your team is the Volleyball IQ challenge, and how you watch volleyball plays a big role in how you learn the game. So some of those different things, like I'm sure you're like, hey, outside hitters, watch Catherine Plummer and tell us what she's doing that makes her such a good player. Because sometimes talent is given, but other times it's built.
Right.
What have been some of those exciting games that you guys have watched together?
The very first video that we watched for the very first meeting was a 13 club nationals final. And so it was girls that were their age that played in their division, and we told them, we were like, girls, these are the girls that you could have been playing if this season had continued. And so if you had played them, one, what is something that you saw that you would be ready for, that you would expect for them to do? And two, what is something that you saw that you could implement into your own play? And so there are definitely a few girls on our team that we have, or we are still ingraining skills in. Transitioning is a very big one for all three front row positions. And transitioning is just a huge thing for our team to work on. And so that is a thing that we talk about every single meeting almost is, are you guys seeing your transitioning? Do you guys see how far back they're transitioning? I've even sent them clips from when I play, and Coach Norm will be like, look at, what's happening and stuff. And so it's definitely fun to see them pick up on things that I probably didn't pick up on until I was like 15 or 16. So
I've listened to, granted this was a business podcast, but they said the best advice you can give in a leadership position, so whether, for me, like a programs director, for you, a coach, or, player to player, is help the person next to you start where you finish. So give them that advice and help them advance. Like we can help them figure it out on their own, but we kind of want to give them some cues and visuals, like videos.
Definitely.
And parents could take a lot from this too. So as their players, or kind of their different team moms, as they're watching it and they have the parents in the stands, it's definitely something that parents should do to get better at knowing the game. So then they can kind of go in and say like, hey, like here's that video of you. Did you feel yourself doing this? And I know sometimes they go, oh, mom. But if they're talking about what coach is talking about, that just helps everybody.
I agree 100%. I had one of the videos up playing, I had to put it on the big TV that we have in our living room, and my mom walks in, and it was like a college game. My mom walks in, she sits down, oh my gosh, I can't, this is so exciting to watch. I haven't watched volleyball in so long. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I turned you into?
Volleyball fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I always think if parents can be fans, they don't need to be experts. But if they can just kind of be fans of what they see in the overall game and figure out flow, that always kind of helps build that desire and build that passion for their little player.
I 100% agree. I even had a girl on my team, her and her dad went to a home improvement store and got wood and built one of those slanted walls for her to hit against.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
That's fun. I've seen a shout out, I guess, to Sarah Sponsall. She did a mom and dad training camp and filmed it and posted it. So she took her mom and dad through kind of the skills videos that were being posted and they were like, volleyball's hard, and she's a professional player. So
Yeah.
I don't think they have a lot of volleyball background except maybe just living in California.
Right. No, that's so cool.
So kind of thinking about when volleyball comes back and we come back into the real world. You talked about in the summertime and even in the fall, we did, a lot of camps, a lot of, different teams, whether that was high school or club. How did you kind of keep that all in order to help yourself kind of move towards that goal of playing collegiate volleyball?
So after not making my 6th grade team, it was a personal vendetta to make every single team I tried out for after that. So summer camps were crucial. They were very imperative to just becoming a better player, but also making connections. I met some great friends that I still talk to today. I met great coaches that I still talk to today by doing those camps. And once I got older and kind of figured out what I wanted to do more for college, like what kind of school I wanted to go to and whatnot, I was able to, instead of going to like skills camps, I would go to college camps. And I think that is very important as well, because you're making an impression, and if you go every single year, then the coaches will remember you and you'll make a relationship, and that is so important to be able to get recruited, because number one, aside from coaches recruiting a girl that's good at volleyball, is they want a girl that can get along with them and the team. And so I definitely made it a thing for me to go to multiple camps every single summer, just to play, but also see people.
Yeah, so something I guess for parents to think about, thinking about that decision-making dynamic, is parents can really help their athletes by picking camps that are going to help them. So starting, like you said, with those skills camps and learning all the skills, and then maybe you go into an advanced camp or a prep camp. And then when you really have that desire, going to those camps at college campuses, or going to, we always called them ID or recruit camps. So you get ready to kind of take that next step within your volleyball journey there.
Right. Yeah. It's some of the most fun I've ever had playing, just because it's, camps aren't all that serious. Mm-hmm. And so you get just to get to play around with a bunch of people.
Yeah, I think camp really helps you get out of your comfort zone, and then that's kind of, scientifically, that's kind of when the learning happens, is when you're kind of outside of your comfort zone. You got to find a partner. You're just going to be like, hey, you want to be my partner?
Right.
So then you're kind of paying attention to what's going on, because you're on edge a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So then when it came to kind of club season can be a lot. We're traveling, around the country while going to school. What are kind of the different things that you did for yourself, or maybe now looking back that you noticed, like, oh, my mom and dad did this for me and it was really helpful?
So I've always been very open that in high school, I was never very much of a school girl. I did not enjoy school. If I could change that, I probably would, just because, I wish I had gone out of that I could out of the, free education. But I was definitely 100% into volleyball. I put volleyball in front of school all the time, and my parents allowed me to do that. And I think they knew that if I put school in front of volleyball, I just wouldn't be happy. And so I thank them all the time for that. And with all the traveling that we did, as long as I had passing grades and, still communicated with my teachers and stuff at school, they would let me go into school late, or, come out of school early and stuff, which for some people it might not work, but for me it definitely did, because I was able to go to college and have part of my college paid for. And I got to college and I was on the dean's list almost every semester. And so it really can, help in high school what your parents are doing to what you go to college and then you have to do all yourself. It really just kind of everything mixed in and worked out.
Yeah, I was definitely Midwestern gal. We're very traditional. So I did have to do, school first. High school's it's not too hard. If you pay attention, if you look at your syllabus, if you kind of figure out what you're doing, ask for help when you need help, then you can kind of figure it out. But I definitely, just like I had that desire. Like, I also needed volleyball. So whatever happened, I was going to find a way to play and kind of put that in there. But also stay open communication, talk to my parents, talk to my teachers, make sure they, knew that I'm really passionate about it. I'm not just like ditching school to go somewhere. Like, it's really important to me, and this is what I would like to do.
Yeah, the one thing that was more important than anything else was my mental health, and that goes for everybody. And so as long as, we're doing what we need to do to be able to stay happy and, stay afloat on our responsibilities, then so be it.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
You got to be happy.
Definitely. And that's where volleyball came in.
So to close out, I always like to ask players this. What's one thing that you would tell your younger self from what you've learned until right now?
Jump. I would say jump every day, get that vert up, and, study. I would go back, and if I could, I would watch volleyball all the time and learn and implement it into my game and, get the IQ that the girls that I coach now have. So yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Volleyball IQ, like, I can't emphasize it enough, especially, when you're coaching and you're on the court and you tell the player, like, hey, I want you to do this, and they don't give you that stare, like, what?
Yes.
Like, what do you want me to do? Yeah, volleyball IQ is immense nowadays.
I agree. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks, Miss Leah, for your time today. I know,
of course.
Quarantine's almost over, and we'll be back in the gym, thank God. And we'll get right back out there.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.